Flaming couches in a flip car in Morgantown. Find out how one form of technology is helping police catch suspects. Is traffic congestion near the University Town Center a danger to drivers? A new I79 Interchange is expected to clear things up. Also straight ahead, find out how federal workers in West Virginia are dealing with lost wages as a result of the government shutdown. Our award-winning WVU newscast starts now.
Last year, WVU students celebrated a big win against Texas, but it quickly got out of control when students took to the streets, toppling a light pole and setting couch fires in Morgantown.
And there were similar reactions this fall as WVU beat number 11, Oklahoma State. Entertainment reporter Brandon Bates joins us with more. Brandon?
Thanks, Mike and Jess. Celebrating a school's victory in football is encouraged, but some fans have taken the celebration too far. Taking pictures at a party with your friends is a great way to preserve memories, but can these pictures be used against you? I recently found out how police are investigating one party gone wrong. Chaos in Morgantown. This video was released on Twitter the night of the Mountaineers' big win over Oklahoma State. But these people may not realize what they're doing by posting pictures like this one online. According to police, these social media sites serve more than just one purpose.
YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, they're all security cameras. When people post that up, it's the same thing as having a security camera in a store. They walk in, we can obtain it, and we can use it.
But not all students are accepting this behavior. Most of them think videos like these are a disgrace to WVU.
All it does is bring bad media to our school here at West Virginia.
Because you can access Facebook nearly anywhere, and there are literally thousands of WVU students on the website.
Police hope they'll be able to catch the suspects even faster.
I think the only way to really quell it is to go ahead and put these people in prison. Put them behind bars and let them do some time, make an example of them.
Police are not taking situations like these lightly and are planning to increase their use of social media sites to help them find suspects. Brandon Bates, WVU News, Morgantown. Police say that 10 fires were set in Morgantown the night after the WVU Oklahoma State game, and one person was cited for malicious burning. Police are still searching for other suspects, and if you have any information, you're encouraged to contact the WVU police at the number at the bottom of your screen. Mike and Jessica, back to you.
For the first time in 17 years, the government shut down.
Government reporter Zachary King found out how the political standoff hurt federal workers in West Virginia.
And they understand that there are differences between the parties.
According to the American Federation of Government Employees, the shutdown furloughed about 800,000 people. This means they are out of work without pay.
Congress was set to do a job, paid to do a job, and did not do a job, nor were they impacted by the furlough. As federal employees, they were exempted.
Pardo says she was furloughed 6 days in the last year. This year, the Department of Defense could be looking at about 21 more days. Federal workers in Morgantown have been affected as well, including at the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health.
Well, I was hearing just this morning that people who work at NIOSH have been furloughed. So it's already affected Morgantown in that sense.
The Mine Safety and Health Administration furloughed more than half of its workers nationwide, including here in Morgantown. The furloughs also impacted families' incomes. This has caused them to cut back on expenses such as eating out and driving.
I think about where I'm going with respect to my gas. Hopefully, to combine trips and just to minimize the use of the vehicle as much as possible.
After the last shutdown in 1996, furloughed workers received back pay. Zachary King, WVU News, Morgantown.
People waste billions of dollars every year throwing away unused food. Food is dated by its manufacturers for quality and not always for safety reasons. The words use by, sell by, and best by indicate freshness. But with all of these terms, it's no wonder most Americans throw away food before it's bad. A 15% reduction in the amount of food Americans throw away would be enough to feed 25 million people each year. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services says to avoid wasting food. Check your food for freshness. Don't just go by the date.
One of the new goals in the new state law is to waste less food in schools. The legislation of schools has serving breakfast later while students are expected to be hungrier. Education reporter Mackenzie Bristol tells us how the new law also aims to combat obesity and hunger in schools.
The Feed to Achieve Act was passed in April of 2013, and now the bill is making its way into schools in Monongalia County.
Well, first of all, they need to start their day with breakfast. They need to have good nutritional meals. We can't expect them to come here and perform their best if they don't have what they need, and this would be one way to meet one of their basic needs.
The new law requires students to now eat breakfast in their classrooms.
It's hard to digest that people or children are hungry at all, but they're not getting fed at home and they're just have empty bellies. And they can't always concentrate on their work throughout the day if they're hungry.
The Feed to Achieve Act is more than just providing food for students. It's providing a healthy lifestyle.
In many schools, kids are getting the adequate calories, but not the proper nutrients. When students don't get the proper nutrients, then they can't succeed and learn in the classroom.
They know when they do come to school, they have us to depend on, and then us feeding them also will give them an extra security blanket for them, so they feel safe.
58% of West Virginia schools have already implemented the Feed to Achieve Act before it was required. The rest of the schools must comply by the fall 2015 deadline. Mackenzie Bristol, WVU News, Morgantown.
West Virginia was the first state to require a breakfast program in all public schools. And the Feed to Achieve Act is also the first of its kind nationwide.
Also this year, state lawmakers approved a tax increment financing district in Monongalia County. This allows tax revenues to be spent on new infrastructure in the Granville area.
That's right, a new I79 interchange is part of the plan. It's expected to ease congestion in Granville, and reporter Devin Dye joins us now in the studio with more on the new traffic pattern.
Thanks, Mike and Jessica. Officials say the interchange will reduce accidents and increase traffic capacity near Granville. I spoke with highway officials about the change. Morgantown drivers aren't strangers to the mess leading to Granville's University Town Center. Heavy traffic flow makes the stoplight seem like an endless delay.
I think it's really bad. It creates a lot of traffic in one place, and the light doesn't last very long, so people run the light trying to get through the intersection, and I've seen a couple accidents there.
The West Virginia Division of Highways has developed a plan to create a new I79 interchange between the Westover and Star City exits. Division of Highways District Manager Greg Phillips says the plans are fueled by Morgantown's continuous growth.
Monongalia County has went from 51,000 to over 100,000 people just in a short period of time. It's one of the largest growing cities in the United States of America.
The new interchange is getting partially funded from the $96 million Morgantown tax increment signed by Governor Earl Ray Tomlin earlier this year. The same increment that is funding the new ballpark for the WVU baseball program. The new interchange will create a new exit off I-79, creating an alternative entrance around the hillside up to the new ballpark and the rest of the University Town Center. The construction is said to better serve the people of Morgantown in the long run.
No, it's just going to be a long process. It'll be very time consuming, be a little bit of delays for people, but once it's completed, it'll be a wonderful addition to the county of Mon and also the city of Morgantown.
The project is expected to get underway next spring. Engineers hope to be right on time for the opening of the new ballpark. Devin Dye, WVU News, Morgantown. The ballpark is expected to open in 2 years. The new exit will also provide access to the Milan Park Expo Center. Mike and Jessica, back to you.
Whether it's making improvements or striving to be the best, one WVU coach is earning a lot of wins on the field. A spotlight on her next.
Also coming up in sports, some athletes have to pay to play the game they love. We'll be right back.
I'm Angela Wiley, and straight ahead on WVU Sports, I'll tell you which Mountaineer coach reached a landmark win.
We're all different. Our interests, our backgrounds can influence our futures. but without focus, they're just dreams. But what if someone could give your interests life? If they could give your background power? If they could fuel what motivates you? That's what gives dreams meaning, purpose. And perhaps that was the moment you knew you wanted to be a mountaineer.
Women's soccer coach Nikki Izzo Brown has never had a losing season in her nearly 20-year career at WVU.
In fact, her teams have defeated a top 10 opponent in each of the last 8 seasons. Sports anchor Greg Medea joins us now in the studio with more.
Coach Izzo Brown has been on the sidelines at WVU for nearly 400 games. Sports reporter Angela Wiley found out why one of those games made history this season.
Coaches always preach taking the season one game at a time, but some games mean more than others. That was the case when Coach Nikki Izzo Brown picked up her 250th win this season.
My family was here, so I got some hugs from my 3 little ones and my husband, so that was awesome. It didn't have to be a phone call.
The Mountaineers defeated Central Michigan 4-0 on August 30th. Coach Izzo Brown has been walking the sidelines for 18 seasons, but players say she does more than teach them how to score goals.
If anything, just kind of making sure that I was doing my job and doing what I'm supposed to be doing and always staying on top of me, making sure that I'm being the best player that I can personally be.
It's important to Izzo Brown that her players are successful off the field. This bond they have created leads to success on the field.
For me, it's never necessarily looking back, but it's always looking forward. But when you get a number like 250, it really meant that I had to look at a lot of people that helped me get there.
Last year, the women's soccer team won the Big 12 regular season title. The team looks to build on its success as the season continues. Angela Wiley, WVU Sports, Morgantown.
Coach Izzo Brown ranks among the top 20 Division I coaches in the NCAA for most wins.
While varsity sports at WVU are thriving, club sports are struggling to keep up. Reporter Jennifer Giambalvo tells us about some student athletes who pay to play the game they love.
1, 2, 3, WVU!
Club sports at WVU are student-run organizations. The hardworking student athletes devote their time voluntarily to the team. Women's lacrosse coach Allison Basie says the committed girls are what makes the team successful.
And these girls work really hard every week to put in their time while they're also doing their studies. School obviously comes first, then athlete, and these girls put in their own money, their own time, and everything to really dedicate to playing the sport.
The women pay a fee of $450 a semester to cover part of the team's $40,000 yearly costs.
Club sports receive a budget of $140,000. Women's lacrosse receives $7,000 of that money.
But what about the rest of the budget?
The teams are required to do community service hours per semester, so it's not necessarily like you get the most money if you do the community service, but we do the community service in order to get the money.
Players say the pressures of raising money and keeping up with school can be hard. Lacrosse serves as an escape from their busy lives.
It's also a great way to stay in shape and just to have a lot of fun and get away from school and all the stress from all the other things that's in your life.
The team meets 2 days a week for practice. The girls are preparing for their first game in Maryland. Jennifer Giambavo, WVU News, Morgantown.
It's really impressive how dedicated those women are. Well, that wraps it up for this week's edition of WVU News. Be sure to visit us online at our website.
You can also watch any of our shows on YouTube, and don't forget to follow us and our reporters on Twitter. I'm Jessica Guay.
And I'm Mike Martin. Thanks for watching WVU News. Today we leave you with a field-level view at Milan Puskar Stadium during WVU's upset win against Oklahoma State. We'll see you next time.
Awesome game here in Morgantown. The Gold Rush looked great. The crowd, amazing. Oklahoma State comes into town. First Big 12 game in the year. Mountaineers come out victorious. Amazing day for college football here in Morgantown. Thank you, WVU News.